Why do people borrow Bitcoin? How do they actually make money doing this? What are their risks? What are their advantages? Let's take a deeper look. Hey and welcome to today's video. My name is Julian. On this channel, it's all about making you crypto fit. That means we discuss the beautiful world of decentralization, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, most of all Bitcoin, every once in a while some altcoins. And today I want to talk about a question that comes up a lot about my own company, Cake. At Cake, we're launching this new service called Cake Lapis, where people can get cash flow. At the moment, it's around 6% per year on their Bitcoins. And we're super transparent about how this all works. And then people came up with this question. They asked, how does it actually work? I mean, you're showing us all these things, but how do you actually make money? And why do actually people borrow Bitcoin? How do I, lending Bitcoin, why do I make money? And how does this all work? And so what I want to do here, not necessarily talk about Cake itself. I want to talk about the process of how people that borrow Bitcoin actually make money doing so. Because only if they make money, they are willing to share profits with you as a lender. And this is what I want to discuss with you today. And if there's any questions, then let me know in the chat or in the comments, no matter whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube, or if you're watching the podcast or listening to the podcast, then please let me know in there and we can walk all this through. If you're quite new to the channel, then please subscribe, click the like button. This is always really important. If you want to support the channel and you want to support the algorithm, then yeah, subscribe and click the like button. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go to the iPad and share a bit while writing, because this is really going to help in explaining this. So let's kind of explain how this kind of works. So let's say this is the lender. So this is in your case you, and then there's technical platform. And let's say in this case it's Cake. And then here is the borrower. And these are institutions. In our case, these are institutions. So now the question is the following. Imagine you pass a Bitcoin through here to here. Now, why would this borrower borrow Bitcoin? And this is a very relevant question that most people actually don't think about. Because here's the major question. If, let's say, the Bitcoin price increases, right? So let's say the price goes up. Who actually benefits if the price goes up? It's not the borrower, it's actually the lender, so it's you. If the price goes down, the risk is on you because you still actually own the Bitcoin. The person, the borrower, doesn't have to pay back dollars. The person has to give you back the Bitcoin. So the borrower per se doesn't really care if the price goes up or down. He or she just has to give you the Bitcoin back. So how does this person actually make money from borrowing your Bitcoin? Because otherwise, why would that person borrow the Bitcoin in the first place? And this is a very relevant question. Otherwise, it's impossible for that borrower to pay back a return. It's impossible. So there has to be some way how the borrower is actually using those Bitcoins. And this is now where it gets super interesting. What these borrowers are actually doing, they go and they use Bitcoin as collateral. So they use it as collateral. So they're not actually trading the Bitcoin. What they're actually doing is they're using it as collateral. So they bring those Bitcoin, for example, to an exchange, and on this exchange they then have 1 BTC. And what they then can do is they can use this as collateral in order to make certain trades or to take certain actions. So there's several things they can do. For example, they can buy options, they can sell, they could actually short, so they could borrow those Bitcoins, put it on the exchange and short. So here, depending on what options they are buying, they can bet on the market going up, on the market going down. Here, they basically become the insurance, if you want to call it. And here, they're betting on the market going down. The thing that they cannot do directly is they cannot directly bet on the market going up. In this case, they would have to do this with options because in order to bet on the market going up, they would actually need to buy the Bitcoin itself. So this is not really possible, but they could do this through the options. And so by them doing this, they can make a return. So let's say they make, if they do this, they make, I don't know, let's say 10 to 15% per year. And from this, they have to subtract the borrowing fee. In this case, there's, let's say, 7%. 1% goes to Cake. It's just an example. And then 6% goes to you. And so now here is where transparency comes in. If you don't know what these traders are doing here, it's actually a black box. And this is how 99.9% of all the crypto companies are kind of operating. They don't give you an insight here. So you don't really know if the money that flows back to you here, if there is actually a return here. You don't know. You have to trust. So it could be that these companies are running a Ponzi scheme. You don't really know. But so what Cake does, and that makes it super transparent, is it shows to the users, completely transparent, what these people are actually doing. They have to report this to us. So as soon as they're doing whatever they're doing with the collateral, so the collateral sits there, they don't really touch the Bitcoin, it's actually just collateral, but whatever they're doing in the background, they then have to hash this information. So they hash the info. That means they put it into this algorithm. Out comes this code, right? So there's this unique identifier. If they would ever change this information, it would completely mess everything up. And then at the end of everything, after everything is finished, they actually have to show the result plus the input. And since as soon as they would change something here, the hash would change, you know exactly that whatever is happening here is actually what has happened. And that way, completely transparent, you can see, aha, I'm lending someone Bitcoin. They use this as collateral. They do some kinds of trades. And they make profits. And I need to be able to see that these profits are actually higher than what they're telling me, because otherwise somehow they have to be subsidizing this. And if they are subsidizing that forever, that doesn't work from their side. So they make a profit, that's absolutely fine. Then Cake, as a technical provider, makes a profit, that's absolutely fine. And then the return has to come to you. And that's a very, very key process in all of this. Now, what I'm telling you is that 99% of these companies are actually not sharing this with you. And the reason they're not sharing this is because on some parts, they're probably not doing anything here. They're using the Bitcoin part as pure marketing costs. So for them, it's just pure getting people onto their platform. And some, they just don't want to share this stuff. I think that's very, very straightforward. Yeah, that's the simple explanation in how this all works. Let me jump back here and answer some of the questions that you have. I'm answering some of the questions here. I'll post them into the chat so you can see them. JJ Valenzuela says, what type of license do you need in order to do that legally for people? It's what's called the DPT license, Digital Payment Token License here in Singapore. Now, obviously, that depends on jurisdiction to jurisdiction. So they use the borrowed Bitcoin as collateral for leverage trading. They don't do leverage trading, so they don't have to leverage. They just use it as collateral. Leveraging means that you take positions that are larger than whatever the amount is that you have in. So in this case, let's say you have 1 Bitcoin in, they would do trading worth of more than a Bitcoin, so 2 Bitcoins. That's not what they're doing. Otherwise, you would see it actually. You can check the results if you actually go, let me post that in here. You can see everything here, pool.cakedefi.com. So you can check it out here, and you can see the results actually from the past batches, and there you can see everything. So you can see that they don't do any leverage trading. Yeah, sure, anytime. Cool. I hope that answers all these questions on what people actually do when they borrow Bitcoin from you. It's very important to understand because most people don't really get that, and then they cannot really follow through. The difference here is not that we do something different than all the other platforms, which is really transparent about it. And I hope that pushes the limit for them to also become transparent about it. That's the key thing in all this. So yeah, with this, if you like this stuff, leave us a like. I hope you sign up for my company Cake. Try it out. Link is down below. I posted it into the chat. try it out, dip your toe into the water, see how awesome this works, get cash flow from Bitcoin. And yeah, I would be very appreciative of a thumbs up. Click the subscribe button, follow us, whatever social media channel you're on, and you're not gonna miss any of the future videos. So with this, have a really, really good Friday. I hope you're staying all kind of cool and not too emotional in these crazy markets. I know it's a lot of up and down, a lot of craziness. So yeah, just stay cool. These crazy times will pass. Don't worry about it. With this, thank you so much. Have a good weekend. Yours truly, Julian. Bye-bye.